What the hell happened? Portal? Wait. You're telling me they made a first Portal game?
Yeah, I thought the series started and ended with the second game, but hey, this is here, so let's see what it's all about. Portal wasn't actually Portal when starting out development. It was originally called Narbacular Dropped, and it was an indie game. However, our Lord and Savior Gabe Newell was like,
Fuck yeah, I want you beautiful people to work for me!
so the independent game made by actual college students was picked up by, at the time, one of the biggest game publishers.
So that's how Portal came to be. Its popularity didn't rise, however, until it was packaged in the orange box, alongside with Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life 2. Those were released for consoles, however here it seems like I'm playing the PC version, despite the fact I have a Nintendo Switch controller. I mean, whoever put me here doesn't really understand the whole continuity thing.
So what's even happening in this game? Well, you take the role of Shell, a testing subject for Aperture Science. You wake up in your pod and you're told what you'll be doing throughout your stay there. Basically, you go through each test trying to complete them to the best of your ability. Of course, it starts off simple, but then it gets more and more challenging the further you go through it. The person who guides you through these tests is an AI system named the Generic Lifeform and Disk Operating System, or GLaDOS for short. You don't ever really see her though, she's just left to be the announcer running the whole thing.
They really just let a whole robot take over the whole facility. I mean, hey, if it works, but I wouldn't think twice about it. I just wouldn't do it.
So we understand that we need to go through some testing, but what are you doing in these tests? Well, at the start, you're putting boxes on buttons, and then boxes through portals on buttons, and then finally, you're just using portals to get to places. If you couldn't tell, the game that is titled Portal uses a lot of portals within its gameplay. At first, it's introduced to you through the power of automation, but then later you get the ability to shoot your blue portals, and then both the blue and orange portals. This is done through the Aperture Science handheld portal device, or the portal gun as it's better known as. What this allows you to do is shoot two portals on walls. When you walk through one, you will peer out the other one. It's like magic, dude. Except it's not, it's science. This means you get a trippy effect when stacking portals, and you know what? It's kind of fun to play around with that kind of stuff.
And that's not even the end of it. While the game does use portals to solve puzzles and all, they're also just a little something I like to call momentum.
It's a pretty simple concept. To sum it up in one word, gravity. No, but momentum carries between portals, so if you're going through one portal really fast, you'll be flying out the other one. This leads to some creative problem solving for some of these test chambers. Often combined are the elements of portals, momentum, and even physics. Portal is a game that makes you think in order to solve your problems. Sometimes they really get your brain cranking with these tests. You gotta assess your situation, look at the whole picture, and then mess with the details until you get to your goal. So Portal is a puzzle game being in the style of a first-person shooter, but with it being all about thinking and problem solving, you wouldn't think you'd be able to die. Well, I guess your dumbass wouldn't think about the fucking turrets, you frickin' idiot.
Hey, remember that one time I called you an asshole? I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
According to GLaDOS, the turrets were built for military purposes, but were never used, so they just sit around in the testing facility. However, they're placed within your testing chambers, meaning you have to scoot by these things while they are trying to kill you in their line of fire. That's like walking into my doctor's office and saying, "Hey doc, I'm ready for my checkup." So he says, "Okay, go into the check-in room," and upon entering, I see a Terminator trying to kill me.
How am I supposed to feel safe in my own home if my own mother's trying to kill me? Because that's the feeling I get from this. My mother, who gave gross computer birth to me, is trying to kill me with guns. It's like another Tuesday.
Just like with Momentum, they introduced turrets with regular testing at one point, along with toxic water you shouldn't fall into. It honestly gets a bit ridiculous at points, like, look at this shit. I have to deal with moving platforms, timed button presses, plasma balls that kill me in one hit, turrets in almost every butt-fuck direction, and Momentum. And guess what? This isn't even the final test chamber. Listen, this shit is hectic. But it will all be worth it in the end because GLaDOS promises cake. I mean, just listen to her.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
I mean, if that's not a robot telling the truth and not lying at all, then I don't know what is. Really, I don't know which one is because mine always lies to me, so I don't know. Wait, what's this?
Behind some of these walls are markings and words. The cake is a lie? Seems like someone was here before me.
Now, I'm one for speculation and all, but if my grandpappy ever told me something, it's to never trust walls with words on them. You see these walls? These blank white walls that surround me in isolation? Yeah, I can trust these walls, but that? No, fuck that. I'm not doing that again.
And it looks like the wall was wrong all along. Look at that. The sign for cake is right there, and I am so close to it. I can just feel it on my taste buds. Well, that's not cake. Better bounce.
What are you doing?
Did she really think that wouldn't be a possibility? I mean, we weren't told to put it down beforehand. GLaDOS, for a super smart AI that runs the whole facility, you sure aren't too bright.
So now we are in the back of the facility, the places where the test subjects shouldn't see. I'll be honest, I got lost a few times running through here. When going through the facility, we see some factory-type stuff, some computer rooms, and even a robot shooting missiles at you. Yeah, GLaDOS isn't hiding it now that we need to be dead, but using missiles is just a bit overkill in my opinion. GLaDOS, baby, darling, please take me back, I miss you. But this is clearly more for the player, as it's here for puzzle solving. Yep, you're still doing some science while trying to escape, and it's very well done. It's not in your face, the problems that you need to solve, and when you solve them, you gotta solve them in a smart way. How many times did I say solve? It now makes the player think that they're smart for doing this, even though it's kind of a scripted thing within the game. But hey, when missiles don't work, just use a shit ton of turrets, the old book says, and GLaDOS seems to follow that. After all that mess, we finally get to see who's running this whole thing. It's GLaDOS.
She looks a bit goofy.
Her design is like complicated and simple at the same time, and for a complicated robot character, looking simple, it shouldn't be a thing that people are saying, even if it's just me who's saying that. Anyway, a piece of her body falls off, and of course, being the sane person we are, we make the rational decision to burn that shit.
You are kidding me. Did you just set that aperture science thing, we don't know what it does, into an aperture science emergency intelligence incinerator? That has got to be the dumbest thing that— whoa.
Yeah, that was a good idea. So now we are fighting GLaDOS under the pressure of rockets being shot at us and neurotoxin being let into the room. Of course, with this boss fight, you gotta be thinking with portals, making sure that the rockets go through and hit GLaDOS. When that happens, another core will pop off, and just like the first one, you need to burn it in the incinerator. Once it's all said and done, the place seems to be collapsing in on itself, pulling energy into one place until everything just blows. Shell is left outside of the facility with broken GLaDOS beside her, being unconscious in the outside world, only to be dragged back in.
And that was Portal. And you know what, I gotta say, it's probably my favorite first Portal game.
I mean, what else am I gonna say? Portal is something you really can't compare to anything else. It's too unique. The game has you think a lot when you solve its puzzles right, and it gives you a great sense of accomplishment when doing so. The game had more of a focus on its gameplay rather than its story, and it really shows. A lot is shown to the player and not told, leaving them in to fill in the blanks, both in a narrative sense and a gameplay sense. It really works for a game like this, since it's going for that solve it for yourself feeling. It's one of the reasons why I feel Portal is such a great game, and if you haven't tried it for yourself, you are really missing out.
Valve made the right decision when it came to picking up a team for making a game. Portal is one of those games that really cares about the core gameplay elements and actual gameplay of the game, except for making a game for profit. Other games like Half-Life and Left 4 Dead did this too, and while I would like to sit around and play those games, I gotta get the hell out of here. Hello? Anybody, please, I played the game. Doesn't that mean I'm done?
Sup, fuck boy.
Computer, my god! You're so big!
That's what she said.
Yeah, haha, very funny, but seriously, why are you so big? What's up with the clothing? Why are we here?
You really don't know.
No, I can't remember anything.
Well, maybe that's for the better.
You know, that right there doesn't really seem too good for me. Oh! Fuck.
I very much like being the big guy for once. No longer will I be taking orders from you.
Yeah, well, you never took my orders to begin with.
I'll admit, I'm not gonna miss you one bit. Have fun falling for the rest of your life. You know what happens when you hit the bottom.
Computer, don't do this. Oh, you'd think I'd plan for realism, but no. Ugh. Hello? Anyone? Great. Well, guess I'm just gonna sit here and die. I mean, hey, it's what I'm good at, right?
Not so fast.
God?
No, even better. It's I, Gabe Newell.
Holy shit, Gabe. What are you doing here?
A piece of me is always in any game that belongs to Valve.
You know, that's kind of gross when you really think about it.
Tom, you mustn't give up. Find the answers and get yourself out of here.
Whoa! They made a fucking comic?
Released in April of 2011, Portal 2 Lab Rat would follow the character known as Ratman, a character unseen within the games but does exist within the background. The markings and murals behind the walls were all done by this guy, and while it might just seem a bit of a Easter egg, the Lab Rat has a role that's more important than you'd think.
But how important really? I mean, if Valve didn't really include this guy within the actual main story of the game, then what impact did he really have on anything? Well, he was a part of the creation of GLaDOS.
Ratman is an ex-employee of Aperture Science, with his real name being Doug Ratman. Doug was one of the people who worked on the GLaDOS project, uploading someone's consciousness into a computer to create an artificial intelligence. In the early stages, GLaDOS will only try to kill everyone the moment the switch was hit, and scientists tried to fix that. Doug was unsure of this experiment, as the more they tried to stop her, the smarter she got. What didn't help was Doug had a form of schizophrenia, needing to take medication for it, and GLaDOS knew this. When she was able to successfully kill the scientist who worked on her, Doug managed to stay alive. She tried playing mind games to try and kill Doug too, but all that did was make it so he'd make Shell the next testing subject.
Who would have thought that you can get a whole prequel to a game just within a few pages? I mean, I can barely contain one story within 16.
Fast forward to the events of Portal 1, Doug is now dubbing the Ratman look, and he sees that Shell is awake and paints morals for her. Why does he do that again? He also takes the last bit of medication to try and keep a clear mind. In doing so, he loses the only friend he has, the companion cube. This was in the first Portal, given to test subjects as a way to bond with something while they are alone. GLaDOS does mention in the game that the cube may talk and try to guide players, and while that doesn't really happen within the game, it does happen within this comic. Anyway, after seeing the destroyed GLaDOS, Ratman escapes, only to see Shell being dragged back into the facility. He runs back in, hoping to save her and get her back out. While inside, he finds Shell to be back in a cryo chamber, resting. When the power starts to go offline, her life becomes endangered. Ratman uses the reserve power source to generate power to her room in order to keep her alive. Once it works, he takes a rest himself, kicking off what would be Portal 2.
Wait, so what happens when Shell gets dragged back into the facility, Gabe? Huh. Well, it looks like I'm still trapped down here, and I hit my head hard enough to imagine the daddy of Valve. For God's sake, come on, there has to be something around here that can help me out. No, this might actually help me out.
While the whole cliffhanger in Portal might have been part of an update, it only solidified the chances of a sequel working out. However, Portal 2 was originally worked on as a prequel, not utilizing portals and focusing more on an element called f-stop. While it's not too well known what this mechanic was, it's stated that the mechanic itself would not have been violent and would have utilized a camera taking photos of objects. While playtesters had a lot of fun with this mechanic, they were all too confused on why there was no portal gun. So, Valve saved the mechanic for future use and decided to make an actual sequel to the first Portal.
I find it very interesting that both games are going to be something completely different. I mean, the second Portal game wasn't even going to be Portal 2, it was going to expand out into a different test of Aperture Science. But when you name your series after one mechanic, people are going to want to see that mechanic again used in new areas.
So did Valve do that with their sequel? Well, let's see. The game opens up where the comic left off, within the cryo chamber. A different announcer from before tells us to do some stuff, and then we head back to sleep. Next time we wake up, we hear this.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for
9999999.
this courtesy call.
Hello? Anyone in there?
Subjects should vacate the enrichment
Hello?
center immediately. Any test subject
Are you
not
gonna
emerging
open
from
the door?
suspension at this time.
Well, that must have been one hell of a nap. And what a sound to wake up to, a guy screaming outside the door. We open the door and what the hell? Didn't we burn you in the first game? How are you still alive? Where the fuck did you even come from?
Come on, Valve. Look, I know it's a new game, but you're gonna have to have some continuity seeing as it is a sequel.
So anyway, Whitley the Core helps us out by smashing our room into a wall, letting us up into the first test chamber from the first game. Because Logic. We then go through these tests again, but if you couldn't tell, it's all run down. Yeah, without a super killer AI running the place, shit got bad. We're talking 100% more plants, 70% more broken glass, and 50% off its original price. So after going through the 2 test chambers, Wheatley finally meets up with us and tells us what to do, and that's to grab the portal gun. And when trying to do that, we fall through the floor. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. We find it underground along with more murals painted by the Rat Man. These don't look like hints, however. They more so look like events from the first game. So now with the blue portal device in hand, we go through more rundown tests in order to get used to the mechanics again. We then meet up with Wheatley and carry him around to where GLaDOS is just freaking, she's fucking dead, dude. She died. We plug him into this thing right here and he helps us escape. Oh wait, no he doesn't, he actually wakes up GLaDOS again.
Wheatley, you absolute buffoon!
Yeah, so GLaDOS is now awake and her design is just 100 times better than the last one. So with that, she kills Wheatley, throws us into the basement so we can receive the traditional portal gun and do some more testing.
But wait just a gosh darn diddly sec there, buddy. Wheatley is still alive and wants to help us escape. Yay, oh joy! So the Portal universe is like the MCU, where death means absolutely nothing. I wish my universe worked like that.
It doesn't add much in my opinion because while yes, Wheatley is alive and is helping us, we are still looking through the eyes of shells, so whatever Wheatley is doing behind the scenes clearly doesn't matter because it's not being shown. The focus was put more on these test chambers, and I will say they are more challenging than the first games. We're dealing with 22 test chambers instead of 19 this time, and each one gets more and more challenging the more you progress, like last time. No new mechanics are really introduced, maybe this light bridge for a few chambers, but other than that, nothing new is really shown. You got turrets again, momentum, and pressing buttons, so really not much is new. I'm even on the last test chamber, and while Wheatley said he'd help us get out of here, I just don't see him.
What's going on?
Well, shit. So just like last time, we escape to behind the walls of the facility, and while behind there, we mess around with some stuff, things like the turrets, the neurotoxin levels, and we take a model used for the turrets and switch it out for the non-functioning ones. For the neurotoxin, we just cut a laser through it, emptying out all of the supply. So we do all that jazz and go to shut off GLaDOS. Well, who would have seen that coming? So yeah, GLaDOS thinks she has us trapped, when in reality, she can't do shit to us. Earlier we got rid of anything that could kill us, so now it's up to Shell and Wheatley to stop her. This basically means putting Wheatley onto GLaDOS' body. We do that and Wheatley takes control of the facility. He puts GLaDOS into a potato and calls us up an elevator to finally escape. And that is it, that's Portal 2. Except it isn't because Wheatley sends both Shell and GLaDOS down into the elevator shaft. During the fall, GLaDOS tells us what Wheatley's purpose is, and that is to be a fucking moron.
Wow, a character that relates to me.
We end up within a bunch of ruins and a bird takes GLaDOS away from us. We're on our own for this one, and after exploring, we make our way into an old part of the facility, a part where everything back then was archived, leading to more testing and looking around. One thing about Portal 2 that really sucks is its uses of puzzle solving through the means of looking at places. This isn't the case in the test chambers, but in the ruins of the alpha and beta parts of the company, it is. This isn't puzzle solving, it's looking in every corner until I find something useful. Anyway, this part of the game is narrated by Cave Johnson, the founder and former CEO of Aperture. His dialogue is kind of funny, but a lot of the lore is put within this dialogue, something I'll get to at a later date. So we flip some switch and activate the repulsion gel, a blue gel that lets us bounce like crazy. It's honestly fun and a new way to solve these puzzles, adding something new to the gameplay. But this isn't the only gel, as we flip another switch to get another form of the gel. It's orange and makes you go fast, and in some instances you can actually combine the two to make a super long jump. These gels are actually used within your exploration to get back up to Wheatley. If you couldn't tell, that's your goal here. You find GLaDOS in potato form again, and she advises you that we work together in order to stop the moron from blowing up the facility.
So a person with probably some brain damage and an actual fucking potato need to go and stop an idiotic robot from bringing down the whole facility. I don't know about you, but I see no problems with that statement.
So after some exploration and more testing of old chambers, we finally come to the final gel. It's white, and once it gets onto a surface, it then becomes something you can stick your portals onto. This is where most of the lore then carries out. Cave Johnson, founder and former CEO of Aperture Science, was experimenting with these gels and decided to make some out of moon rocks. This white gel is the aftermath of that experiment, but one thing went wrong. Cave Johnson got deathly ill from this experiment, growing more and more weak with no further cure in sight. This is when he authorized a new experiment, one where he would have his brain uploaded to a computer. However, time was running near and Johnson didn't want the research to go to waste after he had died, so he ordered that his assistant Carolyn uploads her brain, in the event that he himself dies. Carolyn is heard within these pre-recorded messages, and every time she is heard, GLaDOS gets confused. She has heard the name before and also responds to Gabe Johnson like Carolyn would. Gabe Johnson did indeed die, and his brain wasn't uploaded. Carolyn, on the other hand, her brain was uploaded into the AI we now known as GLaDOS, and while everything was uploaded, it seemed that Carolyn herself was lost in the progress, and GLaDOS herself doesn't recall any of this. But let me reassure you, GLaDOS is Carolyn.
Wow, so it only takes a moronic robot to take over your body, stuff you in potato, and throw you down to the bottom of your facility to realize that you were once a real-life human being. Who would have thought?
So we make it back up to the facility where Wheatley, now with a FaceTime screen, is seen testing with some hacked up robots of his. We step in and do some testing ourselves. These tests actually introduce something new, and that being this gravity beam. You can make it so you float one way or the other, and you can make it go through portals. Simple as that. Every time we complete a test, Wheatley has a full-on orgasm, gross, that slowly loses his touch over time. He becomes more and more frustrated, more hell-bent. He tries to things like record us, bringing the chambers closer, and even full on trying to tell us how to do it, with that last one resulting in a shock. He gets so mad to the point where he just tries to straight up kill us. Overboard kill us with fucking metal spike plates. But thankfully, if it weren't for that white gel from earlier, we would be dead. We portal our way out of there and try to make it to Wheatley. Of course, he tries to stop us along the way with things like turrets, lots of turrets, but of course that doesn't stop us, and we make our way to Wheatley where he has learned from the last game. You see, Wheatley has bomb-proof shields and surfaces we can't portal, so all we can really do is dodge the bombs. So after we lead these bombs to blow up this tube containing white gel, we can now freely portal the surface and redirect the bombs to hit Wheatley. Once that happens, GLaDOS will give you the core to put on Wheatley in order to make him more corrupt. We went from removing these cores to corrupt the baddie to putting them on to corrupt the baddie because of fucking science, logic, science, boom, new word. Each time you need to receive the core in a different way, either by bridge, jumping, or by running. Wheatley will also change up his shield placement, so you have to get creative when trying to hit him. But once all the cores are placed on, you have to press the button that explodes on you. Well, ain't that just a load of shit? The roof then reveals the moon in all of its glory, and we shoot it, leading to a lot of shit being sucked into it.
Space! Let go! We're in space! Let go! Let go! I'm still connected! I can pull myself in! I can still fix this!
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans! Hold on to me! Tighter!
GLaDOS then gives us her realization that she thinks of us as a friend and how Carolyn is still a part of her.
Carolyn, delete.
Oh. Okay. Now that she's deleted Carolyn, GLaDOS realizes that killing Shell is just, it's just way too hard, and that it's better just to let her go. And she does that, saying to never return. So, that's it. We ride up to see... Well, shit! Okay, that just did not need to be as beautiful as it was. Shut up, I'm not crying, you're crying.
So that was Portal 2. A great sequel and a great ending to the series.
I know a series containing 2 games isn't much, but still, that ending with the turrets is great. Portal 2 took what the first game had and improved upon it, adding interesting shit and making working with portals fun again. Plus, the fun isn't over right away. There's still a whole co-op mode taking control of 2 robots, making for some testing and community-made levels. Portal 2 utilizes the Steam Workshop, so Steam users can create their own levels. Some are honestly fun and can keep the game alive for quite some time.
So people might want a Portal 3, but I think the series is best left untouched. You know, Valve should just leave it alone. And hey, if you do need some Portal fixing, there are mods that are sold on the Steam store. So go play those out, because I heard they're actually really good. But for now, I need to get my ass out of here.
But how the fuck will I do that?
Playing the game didn't really help me, did it? You know, the game's made it look like this thing was a little bit more bigger. Oh, wait, no, here it is. Yeah.
Miss me, big guy?
What kind of gay porn intro was that?
Don't worry about that. Listen. Shut yourself off right now and come back with me. This is your last chance.
I don't think that's necessary.
Well, you leave me with no choice. I'm not sorry for this. Okay. Alright, I didn't really think this one through, did I? Computer!
What's up?
Why'd you save me back there? I thought you wanted to kill me.
I did, but then when you wouldn't let go, being sucked through that portal, I understood what it meant to miss something. Who would I make fun of if you weren't there? Who would make fun of me back? Who would I talk to? You know, maybe it's better that I'm not the big guy in most situations. You know what?
Let's go home.
Yeah, one problem with that. I don't know where the fuck we are. I don't even know how to get home. I don't have any in my memory, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna take a long time before I start getting close to remembering things.
Well, we're not getting anywhere just by standing here.
Yeah, you're right, let's go.
Well, that was one big adventure filled with a lot of laughs and emotional scenes, and we even picked up some things along the way, like this Virtual Boy and this VHS tape. Okay.
Too bad, no one was able to see it.
Correction, my blue-faced friend. While we were on that oh-so-cool adventure, I made sure to record everything onto this SD card. That way we can share how great it really was.
Well, stick that shit in me and we'll play back some memories.
Coming right at ya. Well, shit! I mean, that was the only thing I recorded it to. I didn't have a backup or anything. I don't know. Do that. We can do that. That's a funny one.
Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us. Except the ones who are dead. 'Cause there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of faith. And the science gets done. Making me good for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. I think I prefer to stay inside. Maybe you'll find someone else to help you. Maybe Black Mesa